What's up, everybody? Hey, this is Justin again. I'm bringing you a review of the Reeve knives Impinda, and yeah, I'm really excited about this one. I've had this knife about maybe 3 months, 4 months now. I really enjoy carrying it. I haven't carried it for maybe a month or so. Just some other things that I purchased recently have kind of kicked it out of the pocket, but yeah, it's been a great knife. I've carried it, cut with it quite a bit. And yeah, I just look forward to giving you guys this review. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go ahead and put this away just in case. So anyway, so this is the Reeve knives Impinda. It's sitting on the sheath that it comes with. It also comes with a pocket clip, which I've removed. You can see here, it comes with a filler as well for the area where the pocket clip would go. I don't know, pretty standard Reeve. I shouldn't say that. It's a little bit different than like the Incosies and stuff, but you guys can do a Google search to see the pocket clip if you'd like. But I've removed it for the purposes of this video and for my normal carry. So we'll just look at it as such. Just starting off with the blade steel. This is S35VN, and it's a pretty standard Reeve blade steel. It's a good steel, holds an edge well, easy to sharpen. I'd put it above, an S30V, a D2 of course, VG10, but it's not at the level of maybe like an S90V or an M390, 204P, steels like that. So I give it a score of an 8. I think it's a good all-around steel, and I'm very happy with it. It's just in terms of performance characteristics, it just isn't quite up to the level of some of those super steels. Moving on to the clip, as I mentioned, this does have a clip. It comes with a clip. I removed it. You can see here the filler in the knife. And then it also comes with this nice like slip for the knife. So you can put it in just like this. Has the Reeve logo here on the back. And then it says "Think twice, cut once," kind of their company logo or their company slogan. But yeah, it fits in the slip nicely, and then it just kind of slides into your pocket. This is how I prefer to carry it. Very high quality leather. The stitching on this slip is really nice. It's very well done, very high quality, and it's just a very soft, supple leather. So I would give this slip a rating of 7. I think it's a really nice way to carry it. In terms of slips, I think maybe the only improvement it could have is maybe a pocket clip, but you're kind of dancing around the territory of, should I have just left the pocket clip on? So yeah, I think a score of a 7 is pretty fair for this. It's high quality. It's a slip, nothing extraordinary, but it works well. So in terms of the lock type, this is a non-locking knife. You can see here when I pull the blade out, there's a spring on the back here that stops it. So it's a non-locking knife, but this slip joint is designed to be very stiff toward the end of the action there. So as I open it, the initial action is rather smooth, rather easy, but then as the blade progresses around the pivot, it gets stiffer and stiffer and stiffer, and then the spring snaps into place. So in terms of action, it's kind of different from other slip joints I've felt. I tend to like it. I think it's a nice feel, and it just gives me more confidence when I'm cutting with it that it got stiffer toward the end of the action. It's very hard to press this blade down with my thumb. I know it looks maybe easy in the video, but it's actually harder than you would think. So I think it's a really nice action. Some people may disagree, but I gave it a score of an 8 for the action. And actually, let me back up just a minute. I missed the size comparison. Sorry about that. So you can see here, I'll just leave it on the pocket slip. There's the Impinda. Here's the Buck 110. So it's definitely a smaller knife. In terms of slip joints, it's a taller knife, but overall length is around the same as a normal slip joint. And then here's the Mannix for comparison as well. So, yeah, it's not a huge knife. Pretty slim in the pocket. Nice, I guess, slim profile. But yeah, so there's your size comparison. So I touched on action already. Moving on to the hardware, I gave this a score of 9. Chris Reeve is an excellent company when it comes to just hardware in general and their overall philosophy on whether or not people should be disassembling their knives and maintaining them. They send you a tool, they send you grease for the pivot, and as you can see here, these are Allen key screws, and they're a pretty decent size. I'm not sure what the exact size is, but pretty decent size. The only reason I didn't give them a 10 is because I've stripped Allen key screws before, or Allen screws before. But yeah, you really can't get much better than these. I've disassembled this knife once, and it was a little bit of a time getting it back together, but part of that is just because Chris Reeve tolerances are so tight that everything, it just fits very, very tight together, and that's not a bad thing. But when you're disassembling it and reassembling it, it can be a little bit tricky. You just kind of have to get used to that type of fit. It's not like a paramilitary 2, which I'm not hating on those at all. I really think those are great knives. It's just, this is just a different class in terms of the way the parts fit together. So, but yeah, in terms of the hardware, I think a 9 is a well-deserved score for this. And I think the company is really great in terms of how they promote you disassembling a knife. They send you a wrench, you know, just all that stuff. In terms of price, this knife is, in my opinion, a little bit on the pricey side. I mean, it's a Chris Reeve, made in Idaho, nice materials, comes with all the goodies like the pocket slip and the clip and the filler and the wrench and the grease. Comes with a nice cloth. I still think it's a little on the expensive side. I gave this a score of 7. These run about $450 if you can find them. I think it's what I paid for mine from Knife Center. But yeah, it's a little on the pricey side. I think if I had to think in my mind what an ideal price would be, I'd probably put it at maybe $350, $375. But this is a new model from Chris Reeve. You know, it's up to their normal quality standards, so nothing lost there. So I kind of understand where they're coming from, but I think it's a little bit high, but I still gave it a 7. In terms of quality, I gave it a 10. Chris Reeve is not messing around when it comes to quality, fit, and finish. You can see here a few snail trails on mine just from where I carried it. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the back of the knife here where that spring sits, there's a little bit of a gap between the left sides, the left scale and the spring, but it's not very noticeable. And then where these meet up here is very, very fine. These titanium scales have a nice finish. All of the hardware is very well made. This is just for me carrying it, so it did not come like that. The finish on the blade is excellent. You can see my fingerprint there on the oil, but it's just a nice stonewash finish. The edges are chamfered. The titanium is chamfered very nicely. These washers inside the knife are very well designed. They're large washers, larger than any knife I've ever seen, maybe besides my Inkosi. But yeah, it's just a really, really well made knife, along with the sheath, or along with the pocket slip here. So I think it has a well deserved score of a 10 for quality. Getting into competition for this knife, it's really sort of an outlier because you could look at different slip joints, but they're not really in the same class as this. Maybe some of the line steel slip joints where they use like M390, you know, carbon fiber scales, stuff like that. But even those are not really at the same level of fit and finish as this knife. Not made in the USA, still made in Italy, but Chris Reeve Knives has an excellent warranty as well. Probably one of the best in the business. You know, they do blade replacements. They'll refinish your knife for, I think, a small fee. I'm not sure what it is, but yeah, I mean, competition wise, I can't really think of anything. And the way this mechanism works, this was sort of I should have pointed out the centering as well. It's excellent on this knife, pretty much dead center. But the way this action works is pretty unique. It's something that the company sort of pioneered, where you have, as far as I know, where you have the nice, easy deployment up until about the half stop, which this knife does not have a defined half stop. It's really just when you notice the action getting stiffer. And then after the half stop, it gets much stiffer. It's pretty unique, so I can't really think of another knife that would compete directly with this one. So yeah, overall, I think it's a very nice piece. I would highly suggest any Chris Reeve knives fan pick it up. If you're a slip joint fan, you know, if you're willing to spend $450, I would recommend it. I mean, it's a little on the pricey side, but I don't think you'll regret it. Maybe you can find one secondhand for cheaper. And the other nice thing is, when you buy these Chris Reeves, they don't really lose value, too much value. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the review. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and have a good rest of your day, and I'll look forward to talking to you on the next one. See ya.